Hi, this is Jessie Burr with Meritalk. I'm here at the Symantec Government Symposium with Trevor Smith, the Cybersecurity Branch Chief for the Air Force Global Strike Command, and also one of this year's Cyber Award winners. So Trevor, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about what you do in your position and what that entails.
Okay, as the branch chief, basically at Global Strike Command, we deal with anything in the branch that has any flavor of cybersecurity. So it's a MAGCOM staff position, which the MAGCOMs are designed to organize, train, and equip any of the bases that fall under that particular MAGCOM, Major Command for the Air Force. Normally they're geographic, but or aligned along some mission type. So we would just take on any question from the field, any support that we needed to provide to the bases, or up towards Air Force headquarters when they ask questions to us along the lines of anything cybersecurity related. So that could cover a huge gamut of things. And also Global Strike Command has the nuclear mission. So we dealt with the nuclear command and control communication systems as well, which is a little bit different than what maybe some of the other MAGCOMs might have to handle.
And your nomination mentioned that you brought your team from the bottom of the pack at the Air Force security compliance to now leading the U.S. Air Force. So what does it take to accomplish something like that?
Well, to go from the bottom, first you have to be at the bottom, right? So that's when I got there, unfortunately, where we were. So that was one requirement. I mean, you can't get to the top without starting from the bottom. Makes sense. Beyond that, it was a new position for me. It was a new challenge. It was something kind of career broadening. So first thing is figure out, okay, what are you talking about? And then how can we handle these issues? So much like you would do with any problem, there are several problem-solving methodologies out there. We just went through, okay, what do we have to do? How can we do it? Is what we're doing now working? And if it's not, then we got to try something else. So that's essentially how we went through the whole thing: is identifying the issues and then coming up with a way forward. Seems simple, but sometimes simple works.
And what do you think makes working cyber at the Air Force level different than for the rest of the government?
That's an interesting question. In general, you're dealing with the same threats, right? Maybe nation states, bad guys that want critical information, the kid in the garage that is just having fun, but maybe is a little more having a little more fun than they should. So in that sense, it's very similar, but the U.S. government and any government agency is not necessarily there to make a profit. So they are there to protect a mission. So that's where the underlying fundamentals change. A private industry is there to keep their bottom line as low as possible. The government is not necessarily. They are there to assure that some mission is happening or that unit is capable to perform some mission. So I think that's the biggest difference: is what is the end goal, and then you'll have specific resources or means to get to that goal.
And your nomination also said that you helped achieve 100% FESMA compliance for your command. So tell me about that process and also what advice you would have for someone who's also trying to achieve that.
Okay, sure. This was definitely one of the problems or one of the challenges that I ran into when we first got there. FISMA is the Federal Information Systems Management Act. So essentially the federal government said, here are a bunch of things, kind of a checklist of security mitigation actions that you should take if you have an information system. Like I mentioned when I got there, some of these things were at the bottom of the pack, and so this was a new one. Had to figure out what to do, how to get it up, and basically make things better. So what we did is figure out how to, in some cases, get the information system owners to understand what the requirements were, because not only did we not fully understand it with being a bunch of new people in the position where I worked, the owners of the systems didn't even know what we were asking them to do, and we said, hey, you got to fix this. So it was a big effort to get all the right people involved, so all the stakeholders. Okay, here's what we're talking about, here's what we need you to do, and here's how you can do it. We actually came up with some methodologies to help them get in compliance with the requirements from this act. And then also making sure that the right level of leadership was involved. Where I was kind of middle management, so some things are going to be above our capabilities. So we also had to incorporate processes to get senior leaders involved that could tap across maybe organizational lines onto the other senior leaders and say, hey, your people aren't doing what they're supposed to. Why don't you go give them a little motivation? And that was another big part of it. So we basically had to understand the problem again and then figure out all the processes that would work and then recognize the places where we didn't even have the means to do it and know when we needed to get help to get things accomplished.
Well, Trevor, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. And once again, this is Jessie Burr, the Symantec Government Symposium.